Ben allowed Vivian and Mark into the house with a golden rule that must be obeyed. This is a kind of rule that, is stated that if you know you can't abide by my terms and condition, you're free to leave the house. Now, the big question is, will Vivian and Mark rather obey Ben's golden rule, or will they go against it? Hello, amazing fam, you're welcome. If you're watching from my Facebook page, thank you for joining. Please do well to follow my page. I'm not Vivian. And then if you're watching from my YouTube channel, thank you. Please do well to subscribe to my channel. So having said that, guys, Ben allowed them back into the house. I saw in comment section where people said, oh, Ben did not forgive. Ben actually allowed them into the house, because if Ben insisted that Vivian and Mark will not come in back into the house, there is nothing Mama Helen or Uncle Amadi can do about it. That was why when Ben was sending them out of the house, they were only staring and feeling bad about the whole thing. They could not really stop Ben at that point, because they know that Mark and Vivian has actually done a lot. So Ben allowed them back into the house with terms and condition. And this is the kind of one that if you know you can't stand, if you know you can't abide by my rules and regulation, leave the house. He started by telling Vivian that from now henceforth, you do not talk anyhow again in this house. Okay, and then he went forward to tell them to pack their things from the master's bedroom to any other room in the house. Ben is the one that is going to be occupying their master's bedroom right now, because he's the rightful owner of the house. Now, do you guys know what this means? It means that every power that Mark possessed in that house has been taken away from him. He is just going to abide by Ben's rules and regulation. And as for Vivian, whether she likes it or not, she must abide by Ben's rules and regulation. If she's not okay with it, she should leave the house. But at this point, Vivian doesn't even have anywhere to go, because the father has already made it clear that he doesn't want to see Vivian close to his house. So Vivian either obey the rules or leave the house. Mark, on the other parts, let's even dissect each of these characters. Let's talk about each of these characters and see how each of them will react to these rules. Will they obey or will they not obey? Now, let's start with Mark. At this point, I don't know whether Mark is just pretending or being remorseful about everything he has done to his family. At this point, Mark is just ready to stick with his family, because the little minutes he spent with Vivian outside actually made him to understand that he has just been against his family for no reason. Vivian has always been the trouble or the problem right from the one. So Mark got to realize this, because with the kind of pressure that Vivian was giving to him, he got to understand that if things go sour, Vivian will not stand by him. His family will always remain his family, okay? So at this point, Ben is ready to stay anywhere, even if he's in the kitchen, to make sure that he remains in that family. I don't know if this is making sense. We cannot say if Ben is pretending or not at this point, but to an extent, there is about 70% sincerity in his, expression that he's actually there to stay and not to, take that opportunity to plan on how to destroy or disturb people again in the house. Okay, now moving forward, let's talk about Vivian. Vivian is not someone you can clip her wings immediately. Vivian is not going to obey whatever rules and regulation that Ben has set. Vivian is going to be stubborn about it. The only person Vivian is scared of is Nick, because she knows that Nick has a lot that can destroy her. So she's not even about playing with Nick and his threats, okay? But aside Nick, there is no other person that Vivian is scared of in that house. Vivian is not even scared of her father. Neither is she scared of Mark or Ben. So obeying what Ben said, Vivian is going to struggle with that. As for leaving the master's bedroom, Vivian might pack out of the master bedroom because she has had a lot of trouble in one day, but subsequently, probably the next day, Vivian is going to continue with her trouble. And then, guys, did you hear Vivian threatening Helen's life again for the second time? Like, this lady is someone who can never ever change. Helen might just feel that the threat that Vivian is giving to her is just based on I'm going to beat you, and because she feels she's stronger than Vivian, she's just making an empty threat. But Vivian is not just making an empty threat. Vivian is making a threat that could be possible or could actually end somebody's life. Guys, what do you have to say about this? Do you think that Vivian has a lot of trouble right now, than concentrating on dealing with Helen? And then how come nobody is talking about what happens to Uju anymore? Like, I don't understand the script, I don't know the plan, but then I feel like, based on what happened to Uju, Helen is supposed to be, getting information or scouting for information from the police to know if there's any trace as to what happens to Uju. Now, moving on to, nobody is talking about the lawyer anymore. Like, did they just allow things to slide? Or there will be an episode whereby the lawyer's issue will be brought up again? What do you think? I want to answer a question that someone asked in one of my comment section. She said that Vivian has done nothing wrong. She's only seeking for privacy, to have time with her husband. I wanted to answer that, reply that comment, but somehow I forgot and I could not even trace the particular video that got that comment. In case you come across that comment, please do well to screenshot and drop it on the comment section. Now I want to answer this person, and this is me answering this person. I don't know how long you've been watching this series, but Vivian is not looking for privacy to bond, or have intimate time with the husband. Let me make you understand one thing. There is this preconceived notion that ladies always have before marriage. Most ladies, not all ladies do. They always have this feeling that their in-laws are bad. As such, when you are coming into marriage, make sure you don't give them that space. Don't use another person's, condition to, start making it look like it's a generalized something. This is not to rule out the fact that there are in-laws out there that are good. Okay, there are in-laws that are bad and there are in-laws that are also good. It doesn't mean that for the fact that your sister, your cousin, or whoever it is had a bad experience or has a bad experience with her in-laws, doesn't mean that every other in-laws out there are bad. So when you have a preconceived notions that in-laws are trouble, you will always have problem in your marriage because you will always see them as troublemaker. And then one thing again, you have to understand that if you needed that privacy that you with your husband, you should have stated that even before marriage. These are people you met in the house while you were dating your husband. You didn't see any problem with it, but then it was after you married, you want them to send everybody out of the house because they are married to you. I mean, how does it even sound? These people are not giving you trouble. And even if you feel like, okay, you wanted all the time in the world and space in the world with your husband, it's not for you to come and send people out of their family house. You and your husband should go and rent an apartment and live comfortably just the way you want. So guys, I don't know how you people feel about my answer to these comments, okay? If you want privacy, which is okay, you can actually do it in another way without hurting other people. Get an apartment, okay? Buy a mansion with your money, but don't drag a family house where the wife of the main owner of the house is still alive. So guys, what do you have to say about this? Drop your opinion in the comments section. What do you have to say about Vivian's threat to Helen? What do you also have to say about the rules that Ben has laid down? Drop your opinion and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye bye guys.